First and foremost, I give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rokakwadash. Yahweh is to this world ignorantly calls God. Yahushai is to this world ignorantly calls Jesus. Ba'ashem means in the name, Rakah means spirit, and Kodash means holy. And that's all in the Paleo Hebrew. I also want to give double honors to the other bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Today's video, I wanted to go into how, not sure what I'm going to title the video, but ultimately going into what happened with Trump and Zelensky today in their meeting. Right, I'm going to take a clip from what happened from the brother's channel, GMS South Carolina, and he titled it, Trump to Zelensky, You're Gambling with World War III. Right, and that's one of the phrases that Trump told Zelensky is that Trump said that Zelensky is gambling with World War III. That pretty much he should try to come to peace with Russia and seek a peaceful conflict. But on the other hand, Zelensky, he's not looking for peace, right? All he knows or he wants to do is destroy Russia, and there's no other option. But what these two individuals don't understand is that it's not Zelensky gambling with World War III. It's the Lord that's bringing World War III. Let's get this in Revelation chapter 9 and verse 12. It says, One woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. Right, this was going into World War I. Right, when you actually go into Revelation, the 9th chapter, okay, all this right here is talking about World War I, specifically the dog fighting jets. Okay, how you had one guy in the front and one guy in the back with a machine gun. Okay, John was referring to them as locusts. Okay, so World War I was prophesied, and he said, One woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. And then the second one, World War II. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Right, and that's the point, is that this is not by coincidence. What happened today in the Oval Office of Trump snapping, that wasn't coincidence. Right, that was the Lord perfectly setting everything up. Okay, because if you go into Zephaniah chapter 3, let's see what it tells us. Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 8. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. Right, and that's the point, is that this is the Lord's determination. It's His will, His mission to bring these nations into World War III, to ultimately get them all together and incinerate them Himself. So everything is happening exactly how it's supposed to happen. So I'm going to get straight into the video, show what they're saying, and then bring out some scriptures showing you how, hey, this was all prophesied.
Yeah. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't
And
tell
I'll
us.
stop it right there. What he just said is the truth. He said that all the problems that we're facing, all those problems are coming to America. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Let's go to. Let's actually get Revelation 18. Revelation chapter 18 and verse 7. It says, this is going into Babylon, referred to as the great whore in the scriptures, all talking about America. It says, How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Right? That's exactly what we just heard. Okay, Trump is talking about, Hey, that ain't coming over here. We're never gonna go down. We're never gonna see problems, changes. Everything's good for us. Don't even say that. But what is actually gonna happen? Verse 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is Yahweh power who judgeth her. Right? So, hey, destruction is coming no matter what. So what Zelensky said is the truth. Right? All the problems we have right here in Ukraine are coming to a movie theater near you, as they say. And who is it coming from? The Lord. How is it going to happen? In one day. What type of weapon? Fire, which is going to be caused by the thermonuclear missiles. So,
Us what we're gonna feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on this
position to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this.
what
I'm not
You're in
dictating.
no to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From
it.
the very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a
Brown,
good position.
I
You don't
was
have
in
the cards right now. With us, you start
I'm
having
not playing
cards. But
cards.
right now, you
I'm
don't. Yeah,
very
you're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives of
anymore.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War
What do you-
III.
what do you
Don't
think?
tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on this
position to
question.
dictate that.
That's exactly
Remember
what
this.
you're doing.
I'm not
You're in
dictating.
no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very
You will
good.
feel influence.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the
bad
very
position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From the
it.
very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a good
Brown,
position.
I
You don't have the
saying-
cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
Yeah, you're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives of
anymore.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War
What do you-
III.
what do you
You're
think about?
gambling with
What do you
World
think
War
about?
III. And
Yeah.
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States
are
of
you speaking
America
about?
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can I-
trouble.
can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn
We-
good chance of
we are
coming out
staying-
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
We gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about you
If
speaking?
you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this, I
And
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of
except
times
that there-
thank you
except
to
that-
American people.
Except that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see,
And that was the clip right there of what happened. And a lot of truth was brought here. The fact that Trump said, hey, if we take away all our support, all the billions of dollars we gave you, you would be crushed by Russia instantly. Right? And that's the truth. And that right there shows you, hey, who's really coming against Russia? Right? It's America. And that's how America is going to get dragged into a World War III. It's going to be first by the hands of Israel and second by the hand of Ukraine. Because Israel is over here fighting Palestine, started with Hamas, Palestine, then upgraded to Lebanon, it's upgraded now to Iran. And guess who backs Iran? Russia. So it all leads to the same place, the same giants. Russia against America, World War III. So, let's get this on. In Daniel chapter 7 and verse 20 it says, 19 it says, Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. Right, the fourth beast goes into the Roman Empire. Right here you can see the same thing. The the fourth beast, fourth kingdom, the Roman Empire, which here's talking about the ancient Roman Empire, which ultimately fell. But the ancient Roman Empire, Rome as a collective, we're still here. We're still in the last fourth beast, right? Because after the fourth beast, you have the divine kingdom. And guess what? That hasn't came yet. It hasn't came yet. The divine kingdom is not here yet. So where are we at? The Roman kingdom. Okay? It's just that America is the reborn Roman Empire. And in totality, it's NATO and EU. Right? When the scriptures talk about the beast, okay, it's talking about NATO and EU. It says, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. Right, the breakdown of this, the 10 horns, goes into NATO and EU. It says, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell. Right, and this is a deeper breakdown, but when you keep reading, it says a little horn came up out of the 10 horns, which is going into America, and that little horn came up, and before whom 3 fell, going into how America came into power from defeating the Spaniards, the French, and the British. Those were the 3 that fell. Okay, you had the French-American War. You had the War of Independence, if I remember correctly, against the British. And then you had the Spanish-American War. Okay, and America pretty much won all 3 to come into power. But it says, even of that horn, America, that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. And that's the point I wanted to bring up, is that here in America, America looks at the other nations as less than. Right? America has a greater look, to speak great things, to speak proudly. And that was exactly shown here with this conversation between Zelensky and Trump. Right? Trump's look was more stout, more proud than his fellow, comrade. And that's with all nations. America believes to be the best of the best, and that we're never going down. Okay, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. These Americans think that this place is going to go on forever. But ultimately, let's see what's going to happen. The next verse, I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints, and prevailed against them. Right, here it is, America still destroying the Israelites. Right, 400 years ago when we were in slavery, and they're still doing it today. Right, making war with the saints. It says, until the ancient of days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Right, so there's going to be a time and place where the saints, the Israelites, are going to take down all of this, and it's going to start at the hands of Yahushua. But let's go now to Daniel, the 2nd chapter, and read what it says here. This is what I really wanted to get. This is Daniel chapter 2 and verse 40 says, and the 4th kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise. Right, just going into how the Roman Empire was going to be strong, right, primarily through its military. Okay, and like I said, the reborn Roman Empire is America, NATO, and EU. It says, and that's what it's talking about here in verse 41. It says, whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay, and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Okay, and that's going into NATO and EU, right? You have countries in NATO and EU that some of them are strong, but other countries are broken, are weaker. Okay, but at the end of the day, they're all one conglomerate. That's why it says that the iron was mixed with the clay. They're all one, but some are stronger than the other ones. And even in all that, they're still divided. They're still divided. It says, whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Right, so they're not going to come together. And that's why a perfect example of that was this will happen today, right? Trump coming against Zelensky. But even more this right here. Baltic states very unhappy after UK fails to invite leaders to Ukraine summit. Right, and when you go into the Baltic states, right, or states on the east, right, so it would be Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, all three countries are members of NATO, the European Union. Right? So you had the Baltic states, part of, that whole union, that are unhappy because other of their partners, the UK, failed to invite Ukraine to a summit. And that right there is what we just read. The kingdom shall be divided. So, hey, whatever way you slice it and dice it, there's division. Okay, and this division is only going to grow as years, months, weeks go by. And it's going to get to a point where NATO and the EU completely abandon America and ultimately shoot nuclear missiles on this place. Let's get that in Revelation chapter 17 and verse 16. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore." Right, 10 horns going into NATO and EU, whore going into America. "And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. For God hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give the kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth." Right, so America is what's reigning over the entire earth. America has the influence. Right, but ultimately it's going to be destroyed. Why? Because it is the Most High's will. So, bringing it back, circling back to what we're saying, this Trump said to Zelensky, "You're gambling with World War III." Hey, he's not the one gambling, Hey, the dice is already rolled. The Heavenly Father has already decided that America is going to be a wasteland, never inhabited again, and that's going to happen by the way of nuclear missiles from every single nation on earth. Hopefully this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors to the other bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Shalom to you, like Shalom.